Okay. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Well, Friday afternoon, not much to do. Wait a second, I don't want to see my notifications here. I'm looking at some stuff that is very interesting. I just got a green screen. Green screen, I am trying it out. I am trying it out. Okay. Rendering modes. I like view Nuxt. People know that. I know that. People don't like this. Evan Yu, creator of Nuxt, and this is Eduardo, creator of Pinia. If you have not used Pinia, you need to start doing that. Why am I doing
seamlessly around the app.
I
All
started
while
this before. Let me get the audio correctly. Everything should be going fine. Let me start this video. I started the video and I thought to myself, why not stream it? Why am I getting chopped in my head? Hey, better. Okay, let's watch this video. Because there's stuff I didn't know. I mean, some stuff I thought, I know all about this. Let's look at this. I don't know. Client side, we know that. In case people don't know, most webs have changed a lot. Like when you go to a web page, it has changed a lot in the ages, you know. And right now, we visit more pages and we need more content than ever. So this is a very important, very important situation. So it's changed a lot. Let's see what they say here. Hybrid rendering stuff, and there's a large need to solve these kinds of problems because that's why you need to deploy one way or another, and it's gonna solve you. Not a very good explanation, but okay. I knew that. A brief history. Never used it. I barely remember GeoCities. Maybe I used it or not, but it wasn't that easy to get a computer. And there wasn't much of that stuff there. I remember GeoCities, but I'm not sure I used it. I think they were used to be done with was that Adobe or I don't remember the name, but you used to be able to create static HTML pages. It was really an interesting thing. Yes, I knew this. '95 already. Wow. MPA. I never heard that term either. I think .NET and works like this. I'm sure. You need a big server. State is something that's very relatively new because state means that if you go to one page, you want to remember the stuff you did in the page before. This used to not be the case because usually when you were in a whatever page, everything was done there. But for example, if you're going to Netflix or whatever, Prime, Amazon, between each pages they need to know like who you are. They need to remember that also that stuff is managed. For example, when you buy stuff and it's in your basket, it's a completely different application. Sometimes it's a completely different part, a team that develops it. And if you don't have state management, it's very hard. Or a simple thing like opening something in a window and then closing it. The information in there needs to communicate with the page to be able to open and jump to different things. So that's state management is a big thing now. It used to not be a big thing. Yes. By the way, Wikipedia was launched in 2001 and is probably the only startup that exploded and the CEO has not made millions. It's probably the only one. Everybody uses Wikipedia. He has not made millions. Everything else, Google, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, they've made a lot of money. The guys from Wikipedia, they have not. I remember Gmail. That was 1 gigabyte of email was their promise, and I couldn't believe it. Nobody could believe it. Ajax. That's a word that I've used a long time. It was hard to understand the concept, but it's been used. It's probably still used today. Yes. Yes, this is true. SPAs, everything at the end of the day is a mixture. I'm sure he'll talk about that. It's the hybrid version, but it makes a dynamic website where you can open, close things, and change things. Very interesting. So that's a very necessary technology today. This means that unlike the MPA, where every page you take it from the server and you load it, that means that when you go to the first page, you get code to your device, and everything else happens on your device, not on the original server. So that's why you can do very fast stuff, and from your device, if you need data, you get it. But everything is happening on your device. You go to a page, it loads, and the code to your device, to your phone, to your computer, and then everything else is called. That's what's called client-side navigation. You're actually not going to the server maybe to get some data, but you're mostly doing it on yourself. Yes. That's very SEO is important, but now content social sharing it's the most important thing there because you people share and things go viral, and when you share it, you have a little photo, a little description of what happens, and if you don't have with the HPA, you don't get that. You don't get sometimes you don't get that because the information is not on your phone. So when I send it, unless you go to the page and open it, there's no information there. I worked on AngularJS. It was a big revolution. I liked it. But then they killed it. Eh, this is true. AngularJS is owned by Google, React by Facebook. Vue.js is a community-driven competition, community-driven project. So it has no the owner. It's very popular in Asia and third world countries. Mostly because AngularJS was the first one, did some good things, made some major mistakes. React picked up on those mistakes and fixed them and improved. And Vue had both of these as a reference. So it's got the best of Angular templates, and it's got the best of React. It's got real reactivity. So it's and it's very used in many places. Very important concept because Vue.js mostly is a SPA platform, and so is React. They do component stuff, and Nuxt and Next they try to bundle all that into something similar to the MPAs. Something similar, it's not the same thing, but the idea to be able to do a lot more than just the SPA. That's a funny term, hydration. And in Spanish is hidratación. That's a funny concept. It's like when you put a cream on your hands and you take a shower and you just hydrate your hair, whatever. That is a funny concept. So the first page works like a MPA and then it becomes SPA. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Universal size rendering is the perfect solution. Yes. Completely. That's interesting. That's important. I look like a ghost. Wait a second. I look like a ghost in the machine. Let me fix that. I'm doing natural light. Let me fix that. Can I fix that without looking like a madman? Do, 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 do. Is this better? Yeah, I was looking sort of shady, huh? Okay, much better now. Okay, let's go. Let me go. Yes. This is very important, very innovative. Oh, I'm gone again. I'm back. The sun is here in the window. Okay, I'm back. Guess who's back? Yeah, I could have just used the level, I guess. Yes, I am back. I am Batman. Okay. I'm not sure of this I'm going to take again because that's very important. Let's repeat that. Let's repeat that. Okay. 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 This is a IT department dream because that means you don't even need a server. The link is on a CDN. Okay, this is very good. I know that. This I knew. Okay. I didn't know that. I know Angular. I've used Angular. I know React. I've used React. I know Vue. I've used Vue. I know Nuxt. I've used Nuxt. I know very little about Next. I know they are similar, but I don't know how much. Why haven't I used it? Because I like Nuxt so much that I have not had a chance to go back to React really. No need. So I'm very interested to see what's the difference. Okay. Okay. So you have to decide on development. It looks like in Next.js you have to decide on development. Next.js, that is a big one, huh? Because we have a lot of codes often, and for example, things never go as they want, and you might want to just change it for a certain occasion. You have to go back to the code and change it. That is weird. That is strange. That part is good. That's actually very good because you could have some components, server components, and some client. But I can't really see a situation where I would need something like that. It's like, why would I need that? So you gotta pay because you can always cache the in Nuxt. You can always cache the API call. So I can imagine a situation like, for example, a store, and then your component is server side. Your page is server side, and your component. But that's always the way it's gonna be in Nuxt and in Vue. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that because it's a router. Wow. So it looks like Next is a lot more developer focused because you have to decide when you're coding which parts are going to be in the client, which kind of busy. But that means that you need to know a lot. You need to have a lot of programmers that are coordinated and know what they're doing. Which is a good thing if you have the programmers that know what you're doing, but it can be a pain because sometimes when you're using Nuxt and people that don't know anything about JavaScript are using Nuxt and Vue because they just change a couple of things and will have no idea that I can imagine having to decide which parts of my website, which parts. That's just crazy. That's another thing. Nuxt, because they were one of the later ones, they have so much flexibility. They always copy stuff from other people and also inspire because Next, Nuxt, And then there's island, Knox Islands. They always do stuff like that. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me, because instead of knowing which one you want to be hydrated, the most common thing is that you want the things that you don't want to hydrate. For example, the things that need hydrations, the things that refreshments, is because they're important. So the things that, imagine you have a web page, and you have a some kind of latest movies. That's the important thing. But you have 50 other components with images and stuff that you don't really care. So in the other way, you have to take the whole all 50s and say, hey, well, I'm getting messed up. The ones you don't want to hydrate are the ones that that you should be taking care of. That makes sense to me, because you don't care about them. I mean, they are components that are stale, so they're not important. So the things that you're going to be changing, updating, are probably the other ones. So you say, hey, I want to make this whole page static, for example, the Amazon page, and then just update recommended. That makes sense to me. Both make sense. Both make sense. This is true. Okay. SSR. Why SSR? So say it anyway. Okay. That was very helpful, huh? That was very, very helpful. Okay. That was cool. I didn't know. I signed up to View Mastery in my days. Very, very good people. I love these guys from View. But I haven't done, because most of the times, a lot of information on these courses is mid and low level, which is fine, but I'm actually missing a lot of production and real, like, for example, the stuff they said about their page. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Stuff like that will go. Let's go for a second video now. What is this? I don't know about that. Let's go for a second video, which is, We don't want that either. We want the second video is Panasonic versus FS30. The camera hype train. I'm recording right now on an FX30. I love that camera. Why? Let's see where I have a lot of cameras around here, but I love that camera. Why? It's not about the colors, because I mean all these people are going to talk about the colors and yeah, colors. I mean, I've used Panasonic. I actually hated the colors because you get like a Panasonic look, and then that's the color that it's hard to get away from that. It's very I call it plastic like whatever. And no, not plastic, but it's like an iPhone, it's like for example, an iPhone, it's got a perfect color, but do you want that all the time? I don't know. I like Sony's, not the color. I mean, the color of Sony. The true thing is that they have the widest gamma, the widest possibilities in colors and stuff, and that's why they are a lot more complex. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how to color, and you're going to learn other things. The thing that sells me on the Sony and on the FX30, which I'm sure they're not going to even touch, but it's interesting to see this stuff, is actually the thing that sells me the most on this kind of stuff is the legacy compatibility. For example, I've got this lens, I've got this other lens that is I can use the full frame. I had a Sony full frame a long time ago. I still have the lenses from the Sony full frame. I still have a Sony full frame somewhere out here. I just sold my my A6300. All cameras perfectly capable today. It's got everything you need, and nobody has just one camera. We all have lots of cameras, and all these reviews, they always it's the best. And then you got the lenses. You can get, this is a 1.4 23 millimeters. You can get this used for like $200, 200, 300. And I've got so many lenses. They're so small. 1.8, 1.4, and I've got 1.8, 1.4, and that's all I need. I mean, I could go full frame, but it's more expensive and small. And the thing that they don't tell you about this is like, okay, I'm working with FX30, but I can go up to the FX6, FX9, Sony Burano, and it's pretty much the same workflow. Now, GH5 was one of the better cameras in the day. There was not much competition. Now they've come up with GH7, and they're trying to say that it's like a better than the FX7. YouTubers are just gone completely out of hands, because no matter how good this GH7 is, what are you going to go up to? You're going to buy lenses that you just can't use later. So you're going to buy lenses that Micro Four Thirds lenses are very expensive. They're not cheap. I mean, you can't get a 1.4 23 minutes. Yeah, you can, but it's got to be like it's got a 2 times factor. So it's going to be like a 1.4 11 millimeters, something like that. It's 12 millimeters. I don't even know if they make that lens. So yeah, they make 1.7, but it's not going to have the same light. And where are you going to go with that? That's the thing that with Panasonic, it's like, yeah. So you can go to the S5 line, which, yeah, but then what do you move on from that? For example, I'm shooting with the FX30. People have the A7, they have the A6700, they have a lot of cameras, and you can make stuff with it, and you can get together, you can trade stuff. what are you gonna do with the Micro Four Surge in 2024? Just crazy to me that YouTubers are coming in this. Let's see what this guy says. He's gonna love the bonus. They talk beautiful things. So crazy. And I've noticed that people when they do the GH5, they always do this blurry background stuff. It's so hard to get that on a Micro Four Thirty. It's so hard because you've got a two-time factor. You've got a tiny sensor. You can get that all over with the FX30, and you can tomorrow rent the FX30, and all your lenses will go. All you got the if you take photos, you got so many things, and you've got the blurry background. But they always try that, and the colors it's just so lame because you can get so many colors in any camera today. It's not unless you are. I mean, if you're going to just use it straight out of camera, get an iPhone. I mean, personally, I can't imagine a better phone than an iPhone, a better camera than an iPhone. This is just perfect. Sometimes like, whoa, that's just. I mean, it's HDR. It's perfect. It's got a stabilizer, but if you're gonna be a creative person, this is your tool. It's like just so lame. That's another big lie. Like the autofocus difference. You're the only person in the frame with a clear background. It's like if you can't focus with that, what are you talking about? I mean, that's had nothing to do with autofocus. That's the least you could do in 20. Do I sound negative? I'm not being negative, but I'm just trying to be serious. That is not an autofocus test at all. Autofocus when you are, for example, right now I'm here, I'm doing my stuff, and I know it's not going to. I mean, it's reliability. It's not about autofocus. It's reliability. I know it's not going to, and this is a 1.8 lens. I know it's not going to miss me. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I think if I cover my eyes, it might, but it's just it's just perfect. That's out of focus. I mean, it's not like I have a bright thing here. It's gonna mess up. I have a light here. If I put a light here, it's gonna mess up. But I'm still in focus. Try that. This light. I'm still in focus, and it's a 1.8 lens. Try that stuff with Medican. That's it. Now it's gonna go out. That's out of focus. See, as soon as I put a light, it doesn't see me. But immediately after that, it takes you. It doesn't get confused. That's what we're talking about. Just sitting there in the place and just that's not an autofocus test at all. That's just being silly. I mean, I sound negative, but I'm not really trying to be negative. I I do realize I sound a lot very negative, but I'm not at all. I'm just saying that it's not very helpful. I'm just so tired. Yeah, I can tell which one is which already. There's one with oversaturation and one with clear, not saturated enough, which is absurd. It's so crazy. I mean, I could tell, the one that looks worse, but it's you can get that look on the. It's crazy. That's so crazy. That's that is so crazy. There are so many settings. How can people be like that? I just can't believe it, man. Should I comment? Just crazy. It's crazy. I'm going to comment on this because I just think it's crazy. It's so biased. It's just not even funny, man. It's like two stops. Maybe my monitor is wrong or something. I'm just not saying this correctly. It's crazy. That's actually not that way. Which what happens with the Sony cameras is that you have a lot of more information. So if you record, I sound like a Sony fanboy. I'm not, but it's true. I've had this happen a lot of times. I record, and then there's a highlight or this. I thought, oh, I clipped it, and then I go back. Just no, no. I'm not talking about log. Straight out of camera, and there's a lot more information. So it looks dimmer, but that's because all the highlights are there. Not just the ones that you see. There's a lot more. You can always push it a lot more, and it's amazing how much you can push it. So that's just what should I tell him? It's crazy. I'm gonna make a comment. Okay, let's keep going. It just makes me mad. I'll comment at the end. I'll comment now. My comment is there. I'm gonna say that it's a best thing scenario versus, you know, just put that. My concern is can you use the lenses? We're talking the top of one line versus the absolute bottom of one line. So that's the thing. I'm gonna put that. So you're comparing the lowest cinema camera with the highest GH market. It's like so you can't get more than that. Lowest. It's just crazy. I sound like a fanboy, but it's not true because I mean the thing is like people buy and spend their money on that stuff, and it's like it's not just the camera you're gonna buy. You're gonna buy lenses. You're gonna buy compatibilities, second-hand lenses. Your friends are gonna have stuff, and if you ever want to become like a cinematographer, whatever, you don't have to. A lot of people buy this stuff to take photos, but in 2 or 3 years, you're gonna buy another camera. You're gonna buy another camera, whether you like it or not. You're gonna buy a new camera, and where are you gonna go from the GH7? It's like what are you talking about? It's like well, the GH8 and I mean this should have been like 2 years ago when but right now I mean I would definitely buy a S5 before I ever buy the GS7. Just I don't understand it. And this is just a setup. I mean, oh, it's very wonderful. It's better in low light than the effective. They're just crazy talk, which it might be, but I mean, as good or as bad, but it's just crazy talk. It's just crazy talk. My comment is actually here. Yeah. He just said it, get the fastest lens you can or get a full frame. But now, if you're going with Micro Four Thirds, you need to get a full frame and a full frame lens. While with the other one, you can get a full frame lens, use it on the APS-C. There's tons of 1.2, 1.4 full frame, 1.2 full frame lenses. There's tons of them. 1.4, there's all kinds of. The day you need low light, you can rent a full frame, or you can get a used A7S1, A7S2, A7S3 for the price, for half the price of that, and you can use that lens you bought. If you don't want to, where are you going to go with that? Well, that's This is another thing that just drives me crazy. Just drives me crazy. I mean, it's such a silly thing, because I tell you the truth. If I want a stabilization, I use my iPhone. Huh? I use my iPhone. It's perfect. For a shot like this, I use my iPhone. It's perfect. Why would I want, when I use my camera, it's because I'm doing, even if you're blogging, I want some control over things. Yeah, it's nice to have stabilization, but really, I mean, really, you're gonna go walk around and just get a GoPro or one of those. I don't know. I mean, I think it's important, but I don't think it's. I mean, what are you using your camera for? It's like just to a 9 millimeter 1.7. My goodness, it's crazy. At least he mentions that it's catalyst browse, which is something that's like, hey, you just didn't mention. And look at the in the GH, it's got a nice wide angle, and in the Sony, it's putting a 15 millimeter instead of this is the 11 millimeter, and it's like, what cinematic value does? I mean, it's a cinema camera. What cinematic value has just blocking around with the camera? And yeah, sure, it's if that's what you need, but I don't see it. I mean, why not use the little action? I don't know. I mean, which is fine. Sure, it's one thing, but I just think that's just I don't understand how they sell it on that. In fact, I mean, I like the stabilization on the Sonics. I do, because it doesn't get in the way. I mean, and I like taking the time on the shots. I mean, I'm always behind the cameras too. I don't blog around, but blogging is just. I mean, I'm just gonna go blog around with a huge camera nowadays. I have a little GoPro over there. If I ever blog, I do that with that, because that's. I don't understand why I would do that. Carry that in 2024. Okay. That's one thing. All this open, which is fine. You got open, but the thing is that what are you buying the camera for? I mean, it's true. I mean, I don't know. That's good. No. Open gate is a good thing. I would say that. Would I want it in Sony? Sure, but I think not on a micro four thirds sensor because I should social media and I shoot 4K and I just cut the middle. The thing about social media, because I have one of those 360 cameras also that can do, you can choose later. The thing about social media, and nobody say, hey, get open gate for social media. The thing about social media is you don't get paid a lot, or it's for yourself, and it's pretty much immediate. You want something that you're gonna do soon. So I usually take record 4K, and that's good enough for social media. Cut in the middle. I have the frames is good enough, or I directly go to vertical. But why? Because the last thing I want to do is start editing and editing my social media later. Like spending because what's the point? It's social media. Just people are recording with the phone, and then you're editing it, and then and nobody's gonna care. So if it so sure, it's nice to have both. Never had a problem, especially with social media stuff. Never had a problem because resolution and it's just not a big thing compared to a phone. You get that 1.4. I use the whenever with 10 millimeters, you've got so much information and looks so good. I mean, I use the phone also. When I want a social media, I use the phone. I use the GoPro and I mix that with the 35 millimeters, 50. I don't use the 11 millimeters for social media because what's the point? If you got anything under 28, uh, I gotta answer the phone. Uh, Okay, there you go. So yeah, it would be nice to have open gate, but to tell you the truth, I don't even use log anymore. I have a custom logged, and because what's the point? You're gonna throw it in there. I got a phantom log, and you got gray colors, and this bunch of picture for it. So yeah, it's a nice thing. I'm not sure I would use it. Terrible. It can match with the aerial X. Just imagine that. You know, just crazy. The frame rates is something very interesting because yes, you get a crop in the 120, and I'm not defending this, but for example, I'm doing now some wildlife because I got this lens. This is a Canon FD 200 2.8 with a converter, so that this is like a 400, but it's like a 600. And then when I go into 120 or 240, I actually get more rich, a little bit more rich, which is it's nice. So that's the one thing that might be good about micro four search. You're doing wildlife, you get the rich. This would be an 800. That's nice, but that's the only thing. The only thing, if you're doing wildlife, that could be a thing. But that's the only thing. But which is ironic, I think that I don't think you could really use that much 120 in. It's not noisy if you don't use logs. But if you use log, you need to denoise it. But I just think it's different, very different cameras. For me, the FX. Oh, let me finish this guy. For me, the FX30 is a lot. Just imagine this. It's an easy test. I say, people that know they want the FX30, they just know they want because it's a camera that's a very, very specific. For example, and if you had the A7R5 Canon or whatever and the FX3, which camera would you choose if you had to one camera? So if you say I want the A7R5 or the don't get the FX30 because this is a camera for somebody that wants the FX6, has an FX6, or can afford an FX6. For example, that's because it's a budget cinema. That's what it is for. That's what it's best at. You're behind the camera. You're gonna work on your Cine EI. You're gonna work on that stuff. That's what it's good for, in my opinion. If it's a great content machine, yeah, it's also very good corporate. For example, for like doing this because you can connect it to USB. I'm not sure that GH, so you can, and it's got the four input microphone. That's very good, but it's very much. Hey, if I wish I had an FX6 because you can take some photos and stuff, but it's a workhorse camera, and if you have a FX, it's a workhorse for me. While I would get A7 for there's so many cameras that are hybrid, but I think people that want the FX30 know they want the FX30, and it's a camera that's I don't. I think it's perfect. I think it's better than many of these. Better than the FX33. Better because not better, but because of the lenses. I get three primes, and the FX30 they fit in my computer bag. Just crazy stuff, and I don't need anything else. So that's the thing. That's the thing that these comparisons just don't even get. I don't think this is a camera you could compare with the GX7. I think if you have a GX5, get a 600. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I think get a S5. You got Nikon great cameras. You got Canon. Well, Canon I wouldn't get, but because long story, you got Sony, you got A7, A6, just crazy amounts of cameras. CVE1. Why would you get yourself into a GSL? I just don't understand. And you can tell it's a hard pitch because it's the same color. It's not. All cameras are very good now. You're not gonna get, you're not gonna get flagged. Oh, this camera is terrible. Any camera you buy today, Nikon, Sony, whatever, it's gonna be fantastic colors, fantastic situations, fantastic in every situation you use. It's gonna be fun. They're gonna have great out of focus. You're not gonna have, like we're not in 2020, or 2019. 24 millimeters 1.4. That's a full frame lens. It's very expensive. You can use it on the as a full frame lens. You can't use a full frame lens. You can, but it's just crazy. It's a very good lens, and his tone changed completely. It's just crazy. What's the price of the 10 to 25 1.7 Leica? It's just crazy. So you can get it second hand, and it's huge. It's just crazy to me that you need to buy, a 1,500 that you can't use anywhere else. You can't use anywhere else. It's just crazy, crazy. Sure, you could get a second hand, but you can't use anywhere else. And how much is the Sony 24 millimeters 1.4? You can get one point. No, it's not coming. The full frame. No, this is gonna be second hand. It's cheaper. GM, just crazy. It's cheaper, and it's about the same price. It's cheaper, but you can get the Viltrox or whatever 1.4, and it's like. Look at that. Look at the price. It's just, I mean, we're talking $200, $300 versus uh, sure, it's a zoom, but look at that. You get manual lenses also, which I'm sure you could have, but it's just crazy to me. The people are recommending. I mean, you can tell Panasonic just probably gave it to him. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Crazy. They are very expensive for the value. Okay, my conclusions. I think you got to do this for the click, and so I understand. But I think I actually I follow this guy. He does some guitar stuff, a lot of stuff, and I think it's a bit not dishonest, but I think it's people are not being truthful. The YouTubers are not being truthful with you because you don't have one camera. What's his name? Geeky nerdy techie. You just don't have one camera. You have two, three, probably four cameras and lenses. You don't have one lens. You don't have one scenario, and you have a lot of stuff. People do. People have been investing in stuff, and if it's your first camera, don't get an FX30. Don't get a used A7S 1 or 2. Get a used camera. Any used camera is going to be perfect, perfect. You can get a 500, a 6000 with the decent lens. Now, I mean, people ask me all the time. I said my friend was looking for a camera and stuff because I said get the A6300 with a what's it called, 18-105. He's happy as it could be. Perfect camera photo, perfect video photo, and it's good enough. I mean, you can get that used with the lens for like $700, $800. Is that your first camera? Where are you going with a GH5? Please, I mean, I have nothing against the GH5. I mean, I wish this camera had been before because I love the competition and I love the, but it's not the camera to get now. If you see first camera, it's not the camera you want if you want to go blogging. It's just not because you got fantastic results from these tiny cameras. Look at camera conspiracy stuff. You get fantastic results from these cameras, and they're like €400. And for blogging stuff, people are not going to know the difference. You're not going to carry that. And the lens, the future of this camera. I wish this camera, when I would love, it was a box camera. That would have been ideal. Take the GH6 line, the same thing like the the Canon C400. You make a box camera, micro four thirds, whatever. You put in there XL, X Canon, XLR. You put it, make a professional micro four third camera. You don't have one. You don't. So people can say, hey, I could go that way. Yeah, you get the same form factor, but like you don't have a handle. You have the handle is just beautiful on the FXC, and it's not the camera to compare it to first. I would compare I would compare the GH5 to the A7 to 6700, for example, which has a better active stabilization than the FX30, and still, but that's probably the same price or cheaper. But I wish Panasonic would make a professional cinema camera, tiny cinema, like Blackmagic has. That I think is the way to go. Not S9, S5, which is fine, but that market is so saturated. It's like I didn't buy the A7. I mean, I love Sony. I didn't buy the A7 IV because for photos, the A1600 was perfect for professional photos. I know a great photographer. She's using the A6600 with a couple of Sigma primes. She carries in her fanny bag, and she takes wonderful pictures. It's just crazy to see that. She's got a tiny fanny bag this size. She's got a camera, three primes on her hips. She goes around taking huge professional photos, and she lives on that. Yeah. 6600, you don't need any more than for photos. I don't need anymore. And for video, well, yeah, sure, but 4K 60 is just wonderful. So that's how I did. Man, I've been here a long time. I should cut this and make another one from this. Okay, nerdy. Maybe I sound negative. I'm not trying to be negative, but I just really bothers me that people, come up with all that stuff. Okay, this is gonna be it. It's interesting to know Viltrox lenses. I also want this Samyang VAF. I'm in love with those. And they made now, and I love this. I want them so badly. Something like that, and they come up with Sony E-mount. I love them. I'm gonna put them in the description. I love them. They're a whole set of a 1.4, and I love that. I love that. They're not that expensive. What is this Galaxy Andorra? This is so, yeah, it's not that expensive. 2.3, 1.9, 1.9. They're out of focus. I want the whole set, and that's something that yeah, I love that. love that about this whole thing because tomorrow I buy whatever camera they come up with the full frame, and I've got the lens and all that. So okay, this is it. I'm out of a voice. Nobody's gonna watch this, but that's okay. I do this for myself. It's part of my healing process. So I'm happy with it. Goodbye and have a great day.